Oh man, this is your last couple of days of customer service, huh?
Go
Time to
ahead.
That's it.
So often we talk a lot about character growth and development. I was wondering, what is the one quality that you love that remained consistent about your character, even if it was something not so great or positive?
Well,
Well, I
look,
mean,
from the very beginning, Garrett worked in customer service and he hated customers. He did not like service. Over the arc of the series, this never changed. Garrett did as little work as possible, as much as possible. And I love that that remained the same. But I do also love that we did get to see Garrett's sort of interpersonal connections that he had to all the other characters, so that there was this layer there, even though he had this facade of being kind of a guy who's apathetic about the work situation and the work friendships. You really saw that he did care, and he was really loyal to these people.
yeah, I mean, and Mateo is just petty, 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 and it didn't matter what he was going through. Like all the craziness that was going on in his life. He still was just like just himself, and that's just the way he operates. And he doesn't suffer any fools. So I love that fact about him, that he was still just like as bitchy as can be, even though he's being hauled away by ice. You know.
Well, it has been 6 wonderful seasons with this amazing cast and the two of you. And I'd like to know, is there a character aside from your own or a cast member that you can relate to closely after 6 crazy years of being with them?
Gosh. We're all
Man,
so
who?
close. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's just like we really are. We're really close. Like we hang out all the time, like us outside of work. Even in the pandemic, it's we're all sort of in a pod. So like we would like hang out in base camp and just like see each other on base camp and hang out.
I
I
always,
love
I think Marcus is just one of my favorite characters. I don't know if I relate to him or what, but he was just like his stuff was always just out of left field. Like the writers would like at one point, everybody's kind of quirky on this show, but at one point, Marcus says that he in the morning when he takes a shower, he poops in the shower and then stamps it down the toilet. And this is like a canon thing about this character. So, to me, that's just hilarious. And then, as far as just personally connecting to characters, obviously with Garrett, I had a personal connection with. And then the other closest one would have been one of our newer characters, Nia, who was played by Francesca. And Nia is in a lot of ways like Garrett in that she's kind of taking in this weird situation and all these weird people, and not scared to call it out for what it is. Yeah, I definitely like that character.
Yeah. I love Sandra. I mean, obviously
Yes.
Cheyenne, because Chateo forever. But I do love Sandra. I think I relate to her the most because I tend to be actually really quiet sometimes. And then I have a switch where it's just like, where I feel like people are taking advantage of me. And I'm just like, I'm not going to put up with that. And Sandra's the same way. She's kind of just like a doormat. And then all of a sudden, like, when she can't take it anymore, I mean, it's like a rage. And so I definitely relate to that.
So, why do you think that it's important to have characters reflective of you gentlemen, of your ethnicity, their backgrounds? Why do you think that's very important for a major network TV show to have that written into their shows?
I
I
mean,
mean, yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's we wouldn't Superstar wouldn't be the show it is if it didn't have a diverse cast.
Mhm.
Again, like Mateo was originally written as a straight Latino guy. Had they not, like cast me and turned the character into a queer Filipino character, like so much of Mateo's experience wouldn't have been able to be told. Like I think that's the beauty of casting diversely, is that you have diverse stories to tell. And again, and just point out, like our show has like a really diverse AAPI representation. And it just goes to show you that you can have more than one Asian person in the show. And obviously, our stories, Sandra's stories, Mateo's story, and Cheyenne's story, and the actor who plays Jerry, like his story is, they're all different, and that's just a great way to sort of just like show um, the greater audience that's watching of just like this is how you can represent the community without sort of like falling into those tropes and stereotypes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think one, I definitely agree with all of that. But two, the one thing, and what I think is just hopefully people are starting to realize, and which is that it's better. It makes more sense. It's more reflective of the world that everybody lives in when you have these people on your shows, and it doesn't. It makes more sense to me instead it makes not sense to me. I remember when we first came out, that was the big thing. They were like, "This show is so diverse, like all the diversity," and we would go into these press rooms, and it would be a whole pool of people in the press, completely diverse pool of people, all different types of people, and they go, "Why is your workplace comedy show so diverse?" And I go, "Look at you. Look, you're sitting next to, a purple guy. Like, oh, your workplace. Why is your workplace so diverse? Because we're on a planet. Like, there's no other planet to go to." So for me, it just makes sense. And so, I think that I'm glad that our show did it. And then also as far as Garrett goes, including a character who has a disability, I think is very important. And one of the main reasons when I remember when I got the part, there's always a question of like, is this going to be something? Will this feel exploitive if I'm playing this character? Are we doing it for the right reason? And I really felt so. But one of the things that stuck out to me is when I went to go talk to one of my friends who actually ended up being sort of a coordinator on the show. And I asked her, she uses a wheelchair, and I just asked her what she thought about whether or not I would want to be on the show. And one of the stories she told me is that when she was younger and she had become disabled in her youth, she was watching TV, and on Beverly Hills 90210, in the background of one of the scenes, she saw a student using a wheelchair. And for her, immediately she went, "Oh, I could be an actor," just from seeing a character in the background. And I have family members who have disabilities, and obviously we all have friends that have disabilities. And so the idea for me of being able to play this character who they can see on a show, who is not there to be a token character, who's not there to be exploited, but is really part of the group, part of the team, and in a lot of ways the coolest person on the show, I just thought it was great.
Well, obviously, the last season, filmed during a pandemic in general must be very odd as an actor. But the final table read being via Zoom, what was that like?
Horrible.
Who was the most emotional from the cast? What will you take away from that final read?
I definitely, I was the most emotional. I was like sobbing before we even finished reading the script. It was such a weird, surreal thing to have to go through because for 5 seasons we were doing the table reads together, and we were able to be like feed off each other's energy, and that just gets lost in a Zoom. You have delays and sound's not right, whatever. But we all sort of like got out of our trailers once after we finished the Zoom reading, because we were all doing it in our trailers for the internet connection, and we all had like a nice moment together and had a little cheers and a cry. In my case, me and Lauren were just inconsolable, and comforted each other after the table read. But yeah, it was very weird.
Yeah, your question makes it. I don't think we have a word for it because it is a very COVID now thing where we have these really close personal situations where we're sitting on our computer and we're talking to each other and we're feeling and we're making a connection, and then all of a sudden we just hit a button and it all goes away, and now you're just sitting. Like, I almost think of the word penumbra, which is like where the sun meets the shadow. It's that point there. And that's what it was, just that moment that we've all felt now when we're on the FaceTime with all of our family, end the call, and it's just quiet, and you're just there by yourself. There's nobody around. That's what it felt like.
What's sad?
A penumbra, a social penumbra.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my mom is softly weeping. I just want to let y'all know this. My mom is a super fan, so you all have to say hi, Sheila.
Hi, Sheila.
Hi,
Hello.
Sheila.
Okay.
Thank you. Where do you see your character maybe 5 years from now? if you had to write your character, where do you see your character at without giving away any spoilers?
5 years from now, I mean, like, I would have hoped Mateo sort of, got married.
I will host.
Probably.
I will host that wedding. I got you.
Okay, okay. No, I would say married, either has a kid or a puppy, and maybe find a more permanent solution to his immigration status thing. Hopefully that he finds a path to citizenship. That's my dream for Mateo.
Yeah, I'd like to think that they're also, Garrett. We found out in this season that Garrett secretly has always wanted to work for GameStop. Now that probably won't be possible, but I do like to imagine that Garrett bought a lot of GameStop stock, and
He
he
cashed it.
cashed it out just the right time,
All right.
reset that Jordan collection, and he's just kicking it.
I
If
like
you-
that.
If you guys can sum up your entire 6 seasons into one word, your entire experience, what would it be?
Joy. It's been a joy in every turn. It's just like the people, like the type of work that we were doing, just so much laughter. It was a joy to work there every single day. Yeah.
That is such a tough one. One word for the
Yeah.
whole thing.
Or a couple words.
I mean, I'll just have to say, for me, for the whole 6 years, the way it all worked out, the only word I could think of is thankful.
Yeah.
Well, we're thankful that you all were such a part of a phenomenal series. We're thankful you all took the time to talk to us. Blessings on your next endeavors. I can't wait to see what's next in store. And
Thank
I'm
you,
so
guys.
grateful for this moment. So thank you so much for even taking the time. Me and my
Thank you,
cohorts
guys.
all agree on that.
Thank you.
Well, thank
you
you.
both so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you, guys.